Okay, so today we're going to learn about creating and using variables in Java. So we're going to go to our simple input output project, go to the SRC folder, either right click on there or go File, New, and then we're going to make a new class. Okay? The name of this class is just going to be Intro to Variables. We want to check the box that says public static void main, and then click Finish. Okay, so we should get to here. So variables in programming are similar to variables in math and science. Okay, except that like in math and science, we think about finding the value of a variable. Okay, and we don't think about it ever changing. Right, so it's like find x or find the mass of this object. Okay, in programming, we think about creating variables that can change. Okay, so remember we talked about this before, but the word variable, if we break it up, it has the root word vary, right? And then the suffix able. In other words, it's something that can change. And so that's the way we think about it when we're talking about computer science. So we want to remember that computers store everything as ones and zeros. So if we have something like 1001, 1010, that could be a number, a letter, right? We talked about how it could be part of a color, or even a sound, right? And so since that could be really anything, we have to tell the computer what that represents. And the way that we do that is using what are called types. So there are a lot of types, okay? But these are the 5 main types. So let's go through them here. The first one that we're going to talk about is int, okay? Int, what do you think that's short for? Okay, intro, what? Internet, okay. Integer, okay. It's actually integer, all right. So int is short for an integer type. Integer value. And what are integers in math?
Ones and zeros, like without decimals.
Okay, so no decimals, so whole number type values, right? So if we wanted a whole number, we would use an int for that. Okay. If we wanted a rational number or something that might be a fraction, okay, then we would use the next type, which is double. okay, a rational value. So that's a number with a fraction part. All right.
Double.
Yeah, there's a little history behind why it's called double, but we're not going to really get into it right here. So char is the next type, okay? And if I said char, then maybe you would say that's short for,
Carry.
nope,
Carry.
characters, okay? So char is a single character. So that can hold any single character. Okay. And the fourth one is Boolean. That has a little history lesson with it as well. So there's an old famous mathematician who's dead now named George Boole. Okay. And George Boole did a whole lot of work with like logic, like things that have to be true and things that have to be false. And so we name these variables after that guy, so that's why they're called Boolean variables. Okay? So Boolean variables can either be true or false. Let's put it like this, either true or false value. Okay? And the last main type is a string. Okay? And a string is any set of characters inside quotation marks. All right. So there are others. There are other types, and we can make our own. Okay, so if we say like, oh, I need a type of variable that does this, well, then we can define it. Okay, but those are the 5 main types, and really the ones that we'll use the most are probably int and string. Okay, we'll use double once in a while. We won't use char too much. We'll use Boolean a little bit, but the other ones are it's really like 3 main types: int, double, and string. Okay, let's get some more kind of facts out of the way here. So we're going to talk about the rules for naming variables. So there's 6 rules. Okay. Rule 1. Names should start with a lowercase letter. All right. Rule 2. Other words in names should start with a capital letter. All right. Rule 3. Name cannot include spaces or punctuation. And there's a little caveat there, except an underscore. So we could have an underscore in our name. All right. Name cannot start with a numeral. Name cannot be a reserved word. All right. So let's talk about what reserved words are right now. Words that mean something special to the language are reserved words. So like void, public, class, int, okay? Those are reserved words. And then the last rule that we'll put down here is the name can't match a name that you've already used. in the same program.